Where were you born?
In Mexico, in Jalisco, Mexico. It's called La Hierbabuena. It's a tiny ranch,
Mm-hmm.
small town, very few stores. Actually, there weren't homes where there are a few homes where they sold things in the stores.
Mm-hmm. Very, very poor.
We didn't really know any better, so we didn't, think we were poor.
Yeah. And
It's very, we had, stuff to eat. We had a roof and, we had beds and, so yeah, you could say that it was poor, but if you compare it to, I don't know, other places in the world that I've seen, then,
Mm-hmm. And at the time, what kind of life were you living in Mexico before you came to California? What were you doing?
Well, going to school and actually working as well. On the days that we didn't go to school, we would go to work.
Mm-hmm.
I help our dad working in the farms.
Mm-hmm. And how old were you when you came to California?
I believe I was, what was it? Let me see, I was born in 71. I moved out here in 79. So I was about 9 years old.
Mm-hmm. And how did you feel?
79 or 80, yeah.
How did you feel when you first saw the difference between America and Mexico? Was there a big culture shock?
Not necessarily. It was exciting. It was exciting to see, all the, cars, electricity, and, TVs and, stuff that we, hadn't seen.
Yeah, I was talking to
we
you.
We weren't used to seeing it on a daily basis. We'd see very little of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was talking to your brother Gabriel, and he was telling me how frustrating it was asking for people for help, and no one wanted to help you guys when you were little and walking around outside trying to sell candy bars and stuff. Tell me about that time in your life. Maybe it was like different for you since you're the older brother, but...
Well, I'm actually younger, but I think that any time you talk to two people, even though we may have we were in the same household, and I think we still have different views.
Mm-hmm.
We still see things different. For us,
I always thought you were older. You're younger?
No, I'm actually younger.
Wow.
I'm younger.
Maybe because you're taller.
I'm taller. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it was.
I'm younger, just taller.
Uh-huh. So what was it like though when life on the streets then?
Well, we had a family here, so that was a good thing. We had brothers and sisters, and then there were other relatives that we meet with once in a great while.
Mm-hmm.
The neighborhoods that we were, living in at the time, there were other people who spoke the language, who spoke Spanish, so that helped.
Mm-hmm. Hello?
I don't know at what point you lost me.
No. I didn't hear you for a while. I don't know if you were talking or what.
Yeah, well, let me call you from a different, let me call you from a landline.
Okay.
All right, I have the number here, the 560, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, I'll call you right back.
Okay, thanks. Man.
Bye.
Bye. Hello? Hello?
Chris.
Yeah, how you doing?
Okay, it's Rafael.
One sec.
So anyways, I was saying that, moving here, it was exciting. It was also different. It was kind of shocking when, for the first time in our lives, we saw, colored people, black people.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just staring, and our sisters, say, hey, stop staring. It's fine. They're normal. That was a big, I don't know.
Gabe said
shock,
that too.
Yeah. Because we, also, it's not like we had, we watched very little TV, and we used to go to another little town or another house to watch TV, and the TV that we watched, it was, Spanish, Mexican channels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like if anybody saw somebody for the first time that they never saw, it'd be a surprise, you know?
Yeah, we saw, even, we saw people with very, blonde hair.
Yeah. Same thing. It'd be strange.
Yeah.
Yeah. And tell me about going to school and stuff in America. What was that like, starting school?
Well, that was, kind of cool because, there were a lot of kids our ages, and, we were able to, speak with the language with them in Spanish. They were bilingual. Some didn't, but little by little we were learning the language, and I made more of an effort than my brother did at studying the language and learning the language much faster.
Mm-hmm. And tell me about how you found the Goosens and got off the streets and found someone who's going to give you a shot at something, How'd that
Yeah, well, the Goosens, actually my brother, found them first. He, at that time we used to sell candy door to door.
Mm-hmm.
And he happened to be working the street where the gym was,
Mm-hmm.
And so, he, I'm sure he told you, he hit his box of candy and went over and asked him, about training, about being trained. And, they told him they didn't train kids. But, there's a fighter that was being trained at that time, Alonso Strongbow, who I think he became a world champion at one time. He told Joe to train, that he liked something that he saw in Gabriel's eye, or eyes,
Mm-hmm.
And started training him. So, he trained him. He was pretty consistent. After 2 or 3 months of, consistently training, I come along with an older brother who had already been boxing and actually knew the Goosens from boxing. Knew of them. So I went to the gym, and and on the very first day that I show up, Joe throws me in the ring with my brother. So I don't know if my brother told you about that or not, but
He didn't.
No?
No. Tell me.
Yeah, so that was quite an experience. I mean, I was really, mad and, and I don't know, that my brother came at me, as hard as he did.
Mm.
But I hadn't really been inside of a ring with ropes and,
Mm-hmm.
and, we had done a little bit like at a park, but it's not the same, with the ropes and the, canvas. It's different.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to basically survive the 3 rounds. I didn't really get connected with anything solid, and Joe was impressed that I was able to, number one, last the 3 rounds, in spite of Gabriel, coming after me, as hard as he did.
Mm-hmm. So,
And, I was able to really, avoid getting hit solid,
Mm-hmm. So, did you do anything at home before you went to the gym, or the first time you ever even tried any kind of fighting?
Well, my brother, an older brother, once in a while he would take us to the park. He would have, a couple of pairs of gloves in the trunk, hiding, so we didn't see them. Once we'd get there, he'd have us fight, box each other, but I used to always get the worst of it, I used to get headaches, and, I said, no. So he would bribe us. He would give us money to train,
Mm-hmm.
basically put on, box each other, but, like it was, at a park without a ring, without ropes.
Mm-hmm.
It was very different, without a headgear.
Mm-hmm. And how did you feel? How old were you when you first got maybe the better of Gabe in sparring?
I don't know. As far as getting the better of him, I think it was pretty, competitive for the most part. I mean, at the beginning, I don't know how long before we really, before Joe really had us. Actually, he stopped us. He had to stop sparring with each other because it was too, competitive.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like one time we showed up at a park for an amateur boxing show, and what they would do there is they would, whoever was there, they'd match you up. If somebody was there your weight, depending on the record and stuff, if you're willing to fight, they'd let you fight.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one time there wasn't anybody for him or I, so Joe said, we're already here. Let's just, have you guys, do an exhibition.
Mm-hmm.
So it was good. So we did an exhibition, and they stopped the fight because they said it was not an exhibition. It was still competitive. It was becoming a fight.
Yeah. So you'd bring the fight home with you. That's what you do, huh?
Yeah.
Were you a good kid though at that point?
Yeah, I think we're both good kids. I mean, he's had a little bit more. I have friends that weren't necessarily good influences, but for the most part, I think we're both good kids.
Mm-hmm. And you guys stayed competitive in your house, through your childhood?
We were always, once we started, and he got. Are you there?
Mm-hmm. I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, once we started, when we started the boxing, it wasn't as much,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was always competition in that he was older than me. He had been started training longer than me before I did, so he was doing good in his fights, and that was plus for me because I feel okay. Well, I got to make sure I do things right. Cause I can't let him win and me lose.
Yeah. And
so
you had
so it pushed me, and I used it to really help me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And as a
I
kid,
remember when he turned pro, he was knocking everybody out.
Yeah.
And so
they were calling him next to
my first fight was a good fight, a tough fight, went for rounds, but I did a good job. I beat him on a unanimous decision, and from then on, I was getting a lot of knockouts too.
Yeah. What kind of, before the amateur career started, as a kid, you sparred a lot of pros in the gym when you were still an amateur. Who were some of the people you'd see in the gym regularly?
Frankie Duarte, Alonso Strongbow, Michael Nunn. You would see Randy Shields.
Mm-hmm. And what did they teach you growing up?
Well, they would always, just, basically a few twitches here and there, and they'd always just tell us, got to be, consistency. Just keep practicing, and, even if things may seem awkward at the beginning, they say, a little by little,
Mm-hmm.
they'll start feeling right.
Yeah. Were they all good influences on you?
Yeah, they were all good influences, yes.
What kind of guy was Michael Nunn? I hear a lot of people say that he was a tough guy. Was he a tough guy?
You know what? I mean, when we saw him, he was mellow. He was pretty, etiquette guy. I mean, he seemed to be,
Mm-hmm.
a good guy.
Yeah. And what kind of amateur record did you have? I can't find your record.
As far as the record, I didn't have that many amateur fights, and I really don't recall the record. I just recall maybe my 3 losses. I think I may have had 3 losses.
Yeah. What was
one was Shane Mosley, which was actually my first one.
Uh-huh. And what was that like?
Shane Mosley.
At that time?
No, I don't want her to do that on our day off. She lives.
What was that?
And what was fighting Shane like in the amateurs?
Oh, he was very, very fast. He was very, very quick. I think the fight might even be on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
We actually entered an invitational tournament. Invitational meant that even if you were a novice fighter, you were going to be fighting people, in the open division.
Mm-hmm.
So we both entered, and this was at the Olympic Auditorium. It was in honor of Hector Lopez, who had won a silver medal I think it was 84 Olympics, or 88.
Mm-hmm.
So, I made it to the finals, and I fought Shane Mosley, I think it was a close fight. They give him the decision.
Mm-hmm. And who else did you fight that names we'd recognize? Must have been a hot California scene at that time.
Oscar de la Hoya.
Mm-hmm. Did you fight him in amateurs? Yeah, you did.
Yeah, as an amateur, we fought about 3 times. We had one exhibition. I lost him the first time. I beat him after that. We had an exhibition.
And
I beat him twice in the amateurs.
2 out of 3 fights you beat him?
Yeah, and then we had an exhibition as well.
Mm-hmm. And did you have any kind of relationship with him at the time?
Not really. I mean, we were, in, pretty much in the same weight division, so we were rivals,
Mm-hmm. And who?
I mean, it's not like, rivals, but there was no animosity,
Yeah.
I mean, I remember fighting in the tournament where his mom was there, and his dad was there.
Mm-hmm.
And, he lost to a guy called Ruben Espinosa.
Mm-hmm.
And we were in a tournament, so he lost him, and the next day, and I was fighting. And, the mom was rooting for me. I seen they were rooting for me. I was fighting the guy who had beaten Oscar. I ended up losing to him as well, to this Ruben Espinosa.
Mm-hmm. No, you lost to him too.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever happened to Ruben Espinosa?
You know what? I think he went into football. I think he may have gotten injured and suffered an injury in football.
Yeah. So who was tougher, Shane or Oscar, at that point?
It's 2 totally different. Oscar was very. He was quick. Just Shane was quick. So was Oscar. They were both very quick.
Mm-hmm.
But Shane punched in flurries.
Yeah.
And I think Oscar was more solid.
Yeah.
The type of power was different. With Shane, get hit with a shot, and it didn't really feel heavy or solid, and you could, just, be down and get up and like, what happened? Not that he ever knocked me down, because we did do enough sparring and, in the fights as well.
Mm-hmm.
But, with Oscar, it was more, more, I don't know, just felt more solid, more,
Yeah. And did you have Olympic hopes for yourself?
You know what? I not necessarily, because we were not citizens at the time, and we had been living in the U.S. for many years.
Yeah.
We did enter a tournament and fight guys from Mexicali, Ensenada, TJ, the surrounding border towns.
Mm-hmm.
And we won the tournament, both my brother and I, and one other guy, from Oxnard. So that earned us a trip to the Olympic trials in Mexico City.
Wow.
So we did participate in the Olympic trials. My very first fight, they do a draw. My very first fight was against Mexico's #1 guy. So they gave him the decision.
Yeah.
My brother made it to the finals. At the finals, he fought what was his name? Miguel Angel Gonzalez, who later became a world champion in my weight class.
Yeah.
And there was talks, at one time about he and I fighting, but we never got to fight.
Mm-hmm. So when you couldn't make the Olympic team, how'd that make you feel? Was there any attempt to make Mexico's Olympic team at all, or you just?
Well, that was the attempt. It was there at the Olympic trials, but once I lost there, they wanted me to stay there and represent them in other international events, but I didn't. I chose not to. They already have their guy. They have their. They just want to use me to, to have them wrestle a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
My brother did travel with them for a little while,
Mm-hmm.
and but in the end, it was it wasn't he that went. It was Miguel Angel Gonzalez.
Yeah. And how'd you feel about turning pro when you did? Were you ready?
I was excited. I was excited. I was excited, and I trained hard, and I was looking forward to it. I mean, at that time, my brother was like 6-0 with like 6 knockouts, or 7-0 with 7 knockouts.
Wow.
And I'd been there all along training with him for his fights. And so I was looking forward to it. It was at my very first fight. I was actually not even 18.
No, no.
I ended up fighting at the Caesar's Palace.
Yeah.
Caesar's Palace was my first fight.
Do you remember who it was against?
I think it was Marco Covarrubias.
Yeah, I think you're right. Name rings a bell.
Yeah, heavy-handed guy. I beat him, dropped him, but didn't put him out or didn't stop him.
How'd you
But
feel?
it was a good fight. It was a good 4 rounds.
How'd you like fighting?
Exciting with the crowd, enjoying the fight.
Uh-huh. How'd it feel without the headgear and smaller gloves?
I guess I was so into the fight that I didn't really, think much of it at the time.
I mean, you must have been so much more experienced having sparred the guys you sparred with coming up,
Yeah, that as well,
Yeah. And then you
Yeah.
fought Antonio Sanchez at the Great Western Forum. What was it like fighting in the mecca of boxing on the West Coast? What kind of fight was that?
Well, I don't remember my fight against him, but I do remember my fight against Abe Gomez. Abe Gomez was, he was a guy who had a name in the amateurs, had a lot of amateur fights. And, even in the pros growing up, he was, he was older than myself, and I thought he was doing well. He used to be a crowd policer. And I had sparred with him. Before, and I knew his his style, but he came right at me, and there was a very, very action-packed, 6-7 rounds.
Yeah.
I stopped him. I don't know if it was the 7th, 8th, or 9th round.
No.
I stopped him. It was really, the way I dropped it was, people enjoyed it. And that's my thing was that really to be in there and have the fans enjoy my fights and please them, and obviously win by pleasing them, because I'm sure there were people who wanted me to lose, and I didn't want to please them. But I wanted to please them by showing them that I was good, better, and turning them to my fans.
And the guy Antonio Sanchez he was 0-1 going in, and I think you knocked him out in the first round, so that might explain why you don't remember him. You didn't see him well.
Yeah, no.
After that fight, though, you had a fight with a guy named Arturo Hernandez. He had like almost 70 pro fights. It's not a good record he didn't have, but just fighting 70 fights, that just...
Yeah, no, I do remember him. He was a wild swinger. He was a wild, heavy-handed swinger. I remember watching him fight. And I thought, okay, I'm fighting this guy. But I thought, once in a while, negative thoughts would creep into my mind, and I would right away, I'd stop him. I'd basically catch him and say, no. I'm training too hard. I'm in good shape. I'm gonna beat him.
Yeah. And so were you a little nervous at that point, still going into fights? Maybe.
I was a little nervous, but when I would experience those nerves, and I would remind myself that, hey, I trained really hard for this fight. I did everything I was supposed to. I've been sparring with guys that are very experienced. They tell me I'm ready. And that would help me, confront those, nerves.
Yeah. And what about your one of your early fights with a guy named Abe Gomez? It was the first time going 10, despite having...
Yeah, well, that's the guy I'm talking to you about. Okay, so I won 10 rounds. That's the guy that I fought at...
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you said Ed. I was looking for...
No, Abe. Abe Gomez. Okay, so they won 10 rounds. But if you look at that fight, and that fight might be on YouTube or somewhere, that was an action-packed fight.
Yeah.
And he just took a beating.
Yeah. So,
he was a very dribble fighter. He took a lot of punishment. If you look at that, if you find that fight and you see it, it's amazing how much punishment he took. years later, not maybe about a year ago, I saw him. He always tells me, hey, you were great. You beat me worse than anybody could have ever beaten me.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, he took a lot of shots. I dropped him, I think, I don't know if it was twice in the first round or first and second round.
Yeah. Dropped him
And these were solid knockdowns, and he got up and kept coming.
Yeah. Was that surprising for you? You had really good
What's
punch.
that?
Was it surprising for you who you had a real good punch? Was it surprising to see a guy who could finally take it for all those rounds? And
It's funny because I remember, feeling his face or his jaw and my knuckles.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I kept throwing them, and he kept catching them.
Yeah. How about a fight you had with a guy named Job Walters from 1990, I think?
Yeah, he was a rough guy from, I think he was Jamaican.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tough guy. He was, he would smother me. He would smother me.
Mm-hmm.
I think I ended up stopping him, I don't know if 8th or 9th round.
Yeah, ninth. I think it was the 9th round.
Yeah.
Yep.
A very hard-headed guy. I remember bumping heads with him, and,
Yeah. And after you fought a guy named Felipe De Jesus, and then you got your shot.
Yeah, that was in San Diego.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not San Diego, in Arco Arena,
Mm-hmm. Was it
Sacramento.
anything memorable about that fight?
Well, he was southpaw, so that was a little different. It was.
Mm-hmm.
It took a little time before I got to him. I don't know if it was 7th or 8th round or what,
Yeah. You
or
got him.
9th.
I know you got him. I think it might have been the 8th round,
Okay.
if my memory
Yeah.
serves me.
Yeah, but it was different. It was southpaw, and he had a decent punch.
Mm-hmm. And how'd you feel going into the fight with Richard Abeel for the USA California Featherweight Championship? That was your first professional championship you were going into. Were you confident going in, or still nervous?
Yeah, no, I was always confident because I'd always trained, properly. I was always going into the ring with a clear conscience, knowing that, that I did what I was supposed to or told by my trainer to do.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I knew that I hadn't done anything I wasn't supposed to do.
Yeah.
So I did feel confident.
Yeah. And how'd you feel after it was over and you had your first professional title? How'd that feel?
Well, it was a great feeling. Great feeling to have a belt around my waist, and that was a local fight in Reseda, which is the LA County, San Fernando Valley, which is where I grew up. I've been here pretty much since like 80. I was in Santa Cruz, California for 3 months when we first came to the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
After that, it's just been in the San Fernando Valley for me.
Yeah. And after that, you fought a guy named Tomas Valdez for the IBF Americas Championship. Now you're getting up there. It's an IBF belt. How'd that feel?
Yeah.
Going in for a bigger title?
It was always exciting and satisfying because I've been training consistently for many years. Even before I turned pro, we were in the gym daily, Monday through Saturday.
Mm-hmm. And then your Steve Cruz fight for the NABF title.
What's that?
The Steve Cruz fight for the NABF title.
Yeah, that was another fight where I would remember getting a little nervous because I remember what a big fan my older brother was of Barry McGuigan.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember he knocked out Barry McGuigan, I think, in the 15th round in Vegas, I believe.
Yeah.
And I remember watching him fight, but I used to think, you know what? And I remember at the weigh-in and seeing him, and he would look at me, and I could tell that he would, at least my interpretation or my reading of his expressions were that, he thought he was fighting a kid,
Mm-hmm.
But I thought, but I would say, you know what? Hey, I'll only show you what a kid I am, just we'll see, because I felt good,
Yeah.
I had, been sparring with good fighters and doing very well against them.
Mm-hmm. And
So that gave me confidence.
yeah. How'd you feel after winning the NABF title?
It was great. It was also, I think it was my first time that I ever got knocked down in my fight against him. I did get knocked down, but it was just on the knee. I just went to the knee and got back up, and and I said, and I thought, okay, well, I remember, thinking, okay, good shot, but I'm okay. It didn't. I was glad that I didn't. Like, oh, I better get away, or I better, not go after him, or I better be more careful or stuff.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where I better not go after him anymore. So I was glad that that I guess my mind, my instincts were still to go after him.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you
and
feel?
not to retreat and be safe, or
Yeah. Did you feel ready for anybody in the world yet at that time?
Yeah, yes, I did. I felt very good at that time. Yes.
Yeah. What was it like for you at that point? You're almost 6 feet. What was it like trying to make the featherweight limit still at that height?
Well, it was tough. Even with that fight, it was really tough. That was a tough, fight to make weight for.
Yeah.
I think they may have been one of the few times where, I had to go and chew gum and spit and jump rope and
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But I recovered quickly. I felt good, before it. So.
Mm-hmm. And when did you decide to move up? Was it soon after that fight, right away?
I think it may have been. I don't think I even defended the title. I think I just moved up right there.
Yeah. Then you had a fight with Narcisco Valenzuela.
Yeah, and he was a experienced guy. He took a lot of shots. I think he may have gone to the 10th, 11th, maybe in 12th round. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if it was.
Yeah, I think it was the 11th.
Okay.
I think. Don't quote me on that.
Mm-hmm.
But how'd that feel beating that guy? How'd it feel being up at a newer weight, and how'd you feel in there with that tough guy?
Well, I was satisfied that they're having, even though I had stepped up in weight, I was still able to, I guess take their shots, and it didn't seem much different.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to, I believe I stopped them again, I'm not sure if it was, but I think I did stop them in the later rounds.
Yeah, you did. I think you did for sure.
What's that?
Do you have to go eat now, Rafael?
No, it's fine, it's fine.
Then you did stop him late, though. I think it was the 11th round you stopped Narcisco.
Okay, yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I know it didn't go to a decision, but I know you stopped him.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had your first loss against Moro Gutierrez. What do you remember about that fight?
Well, that fight, it was very action-packed. I think it was two or three rounds.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a very heavy-handed fighter, good fighter. But I thought that was faster. I was connecting a lot of shots on him as well. I think a lot more than he was connecting on me. If you look at that tape, which I may have somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that fight so many times.
I got hit with two great shots. I got hit with one, and I didn't retreat. I actually went right out. I kept going after him, and basically walked right into the other one.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And at that point, what do you remember when you hit the floor? Did you have all your thoughts back?
I recovered quickly, but I looked over at my corner, and my corner was signaling to stay down, and they were counting. I was looking at him, not the referee. I was looking at him because he was, counting. And when he gave me the signal to, get up, I actually jumped up because, the ref said it was over.
Mm.
And if you look at that tape, you'll see that the ref had sent the fighter to a neutral corner.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy did not go to the corner that he was directed to.
Yeah.
And, he should have stopped the count and gone over to walk him to where he was directed to. At least that's what, I'd been told.
Mm-hmm.
And, there when he's there in front of my trainer, excited jumping up and down, that's how my trainer may have, lost count or fell behind by one.
Yeah.
When he picked up the count, he might have,
Yeah.
picked it up when it wouldn't, below.
Yeah. That
So,
actually.
anyways, that was,
It actually
it was,
made-
it was a shocker. I mean, that was,
Yeah.
that made it to Fred Rogan's sports bloopers.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember. That's right. Yeah.
Hmm.
It actually made you more popular and famous. So I think it worked in your favor. How did it feel though? Right after it happened, losing your perfect record, what did that feel like?
Well, it was disappointing, but what can you do? To just get back in the gym and train, and and move on. I was hoping to, get a rematch quickly. We tried. He was offered a lot of money at that time to give us a quick rematch. It didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't happen. It happened about a year. I don't know if it was a year later. Who knows how much?
Yeah, it was.
How long
exactly
later?
right. It was like 3 weeks. It would have been a year to the day. So
Okay. Yeah.
it was right there, about a year.
Yeah,
Not
and
bad.
again, it was another good fight where he was durable, he was strong, and I trained hard for it, and
Yeah. How'd you feel going in the ring with the guy who took your perfect record away? Were you nervous?
well,
when you
it
were?
was a little nervous, but at the same time, it was a little exciting. It was exciting that I was given that was an opportunity for me to redeem myself,
Mm-hmm.
against him, and so I was ready,
Yeah. How'd it feel getting revenge on the guy who did that though?
It felt great. It felt great. I mean, I was tired because it was 10 rounds, and it was it wasn't easy, and it was not an easy fight.
No. No.
Yeah, but it was very satisfying.
Yeah, Gutierrez is an experienced guy, good fighter, tough.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
between those two fights, so you fought Rocky Lockridge. What do you remember about Rocky Lockridge at that time?
Well, that's another guy that I remember watching him, growing up.
Mhm.
Watching him fighting, I don't know if it was Gomez or who it was, And I remember my brothers, and other people talking about, what a good fighter he was, and how he knocked out, a lot of people. And so, I just motivated me to train hard and to continue doing what I was supposed to do to prepare myself for that fight, for, a tough fight.
Mm-hmm.
And, he took a lot of shots.
Yeah.
He took a lot of shots. I don't know if he may, I don't remember if it went 9 rounds or if it went the full distance. I think he quit after 8 or 9 rounds or 7 rounds.
No, I think it was a decision. Rocky
Okay.
Lockridge. I think so.
Okay.
And then you fought Jorge Paez soon after that one. What was it like fighting Paez?
Well, Pius, being the clown that he was, and and messing around with the fighters in the ring, and and so I said, I can't be. I thought it would be humiliating to let him, or permit him to do the things that he would do with many of the fighters that he would face.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be in that position. I don't want to give him that opportunity. So, I trained hard, and, I went at him, and I knocked him down in the first round.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You were like unstoppable that night. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel? Did you feel unbeatable?
he was coming in, so he was taking a lot of shots, and, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a very exciting win for me,
Uh-huh. Did you feel at the time that you could just take anybody? Were you ready for the champion at that time?
Yeah, no, I was ready.
Mm-hmm.
I felt ready, yes.
Yeah. Then you had a wild fight with a guy named Robert Rivera. What do you think of when you think of that fight with Robert Rivera? You remember it?
No, I don't remember it. I think I stopped him quickly, or what happened with him?
Yeah, you got deducted points for low blows. I don't know if you remember it at all.
No, not really.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the name a little bit, but
Well, that's all right. I mean, if it doesn't spark a memory, I guess nothing came of it. Nothing worth
Okay.
remembering. How about your fight with Daryl Tyson? This is when it was obvious that you were ready, and what would you be doing to prepare for fights like this at that time? Like, what would you be doing, and who would you be sparring with in the gym to get ready for Daryl Tyson?
Well, I remember sparring with Hector Lopez. There's I remember sparring with remember even sparring with Shane Mosley. I don't know if it was specifically for that fight, but I sparred with Shane Mosley, sparred with Oscar De La Hoya. I sparred with Hector Lopez, and and I felt ready. I felt good. And then one of my memorable, for me, sparring sessions. It was the only time I ever got in the ring with I Corte.
No. What was that like? The high guard.
Well, he was undefeated. He was from Ghana. I think he was like 18-0 with like 17 knockouts or something.
Mm-hmm.
He came into the to spar with somebody and said me and somebody I told him, no, he's fine. And it was a very action-packed sparring session.
Mm-hmm. Did you feel good in there? Like
I felt very good.
Yeah.
I felt very good.
Yeah. I always
I
wondered.
had him up against the ropes, and he connected some good shots, and I felt real good.
Yeah. So you might have been able to hold your own with him in the ring.
What's that?
Yeah, it's good to know you might have been able to beat the welterweight champion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And what do you remember about?
I'll tell you this: he never came back ever again.
No. You chased him from the gym.
Yeah.
And what do you remember about the Daryl Tyson fight? Did you remember anything that in particular about that fight?
I think I stopped in the 9th round.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't an easy fighter. A little awkward, also a little rough, a little dirty.
Mhm. Yeah. But after that, you got your shot at the IBF champion, and you fought him at the Great Western Forum too. What do you remember about Freddie Pendleton that night?
Well, with Freddie, I mean, he was very the most disrespectful fighter that I remember facing or meeting.
I didn't even know that. I thought he was a quiet guy.
No, he's very mouthy, he's very disrespectful. Talked a lot of crap.
Yeah.
And I try not to let it get to me. For the most part, it didn't, but once in a while it would.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it was tough. It was a tough beginning. It was a very tough beginning, and it was unexpected. I mean, he had a speed, and I didn't expect that I'd be getting knocked down as quickly as I did on.
Mm-hmm.
I got knocked down, I believe, twice in the first round.
Yeah.
And my thing, I kept remembering, I can't let it happen a third time because under the California rules, I would have 3 knockdowns would have been, automatic knockout.
Yeah. What's that feel like when you know you must stay away from this guy for that time?
Well, it was
Like
I was a little nervous. But at the same time, I kept thinking, I gotta make it. And once I made it, got that minute rest, and I thought, okay, well now it's my time to come back, 'cause I gotta make up. I gotta make up for some. I gotta make some points here.
How disheartening is that to have to go down twice and be down that much on points going into your first title shot? Did you feel confident?
Well, I felt I gotta go at him and I gotta get him out. Because I'm here to win. I'm not gonna just be there and it's over. Like I'm not gonna win. I feel what
How hurt were you from those knockdowns? Were you hurt?
They were quick. I was hurt, but I don't think it was this. I was hurt. It was more the speed. It's a different type of power. There's this high type of power, and there's a quickness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then my legs did fall from under me.
Yeah.
But I was able to come back, and
And
and get on them and stay on them, you know.
yeah. And would he continue to talk to you throughout the fight too?
Yeah, a little bit here and there, you know. Still got to be strong, but I say, you know, hey, I'm gonna keep coming at you, you know. And I kept going at him.
Yeah.
I remember the 9th or I don't know if it was 10th or 11th round. I had him up against the ropes. I was so close to getting him out.
Yeah. Yeah. And how did it feel after the decision was read and you were?
Oh, it was very, very, you know, satisfying. I was, you know, but I was, you know, long 12 rounds, and it was, you know,
who was there?
a lot of work had been, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of punches, a long day at work.
Now, was your whole family there to see you win the title?
I think yes. I'm pretty sure that they were.
And then you had a fight. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Maybe, except my mom. I don't think my mom was there.
No. Was she supportive as your mother boxing, or was she?
Yeah, they were always, you know, hoping that, you know, they would just pray, especially her. You know, she knew, you know, she had confidence because we projected that confidence, you know.
Yeah, and she knew you guys were capable. And then you defended the title for the first time against Mike Ebgen, TKO in round 3. What do you remember about that fight? First defense.
Yeah, I think that fight, what happened with that fight is we were going to fight in Hong Kong. And I think that, you know, we were there and they postponed it until last minute.
Oh, yeah?
And, yeah, you know, and awkward, you know, European fighter, but I think I got him out. I got him out quick.
Yeah.
When did I get him out? I don't remember exactly.
Let's see here. Here it is. It was a TKO in round 3.
Round 3, yeah.
Yeah, TKO round 3. And after that, you fought Billy Schwer. What do you remember about Billy Schwer?
He's also another, you know, European fighter. You know, who's, you know, a little dirty, you know, a little awkward. I don't remember how long he went. I remember.
Yeah, he went 8 rounds too.
8 rounds, yeah.
Yeah. Then what was the hype like in California when you were going to fight De La Hoya? What do you remember about when the fight was announced and stuff?
Well, it was very a lot of excitement, you know, in the you know, in the public, in the media and everything. It was, you know, a big fight.
Yeah, it was an exciting fight. The build-up for that fight.
What's that?
The build-up for that fight was really exciting.
Yeah, the build-up was, yeah, was an exciting build-up.
Yeah.
You know, it was very, very, you know, disappointing for me to, you know, to lose that way against someone that I, you know, known since a kid and fought him as kids and beat him as a kid.
Yeah.
You know, but
so,
yeah, I think maybe because he was hyped as much as he was, having won the gold medal, I went after him much quicker than I should have.
Yeah. And what did you did you feel it? Did you remember anything as you fell in the second round and got hurt? What do you remember? How hurt were you in the second round fighting young De La Hoya?
He caught me. He caught me good. He caught me good. He's a great finisher. You know, when he hurts a person, he jumps him. You know, he did a great move. I mean, if you see it in slow motion, he actually pushed me, and right as he pushed, I remember seeing him, watching him train that move or work on that move. Not necessarily for my fight, but I remember, you know, where his trainer at that time was Robert Alcazar. They would lean into him. And he would just do a quick push up, and, you know, and hook. You know.
And what surprised you? Did anything surprise you? Did he improve a great deal since the amateur days?
Yeah, you know, I think he was a very good amateur fighter too. You know,
Did his power surprise you at all, though?
What's that?
Did his power surprise you from what you remember in the amateurs?
No, not really. It was not necessarily surprising. I knew that he was, you know, he's the only fighter to ever knock me down as an amateur.
Yeah. And what was it like after losing such a turf war? Big
Well,
height
it was
fight.
devastating. It was not an easy, it was not easy to cope with.
Yeah.
But I did, and
And how did you do it? Did you got in the ring just 5 months later? How long did it take you to feel like yourself again?
I don't know how long it took, but that fight was tough mentally.
Do you wish you didn't get in the ring so soon after?
What's that?
Do you wish you didn't get back in the ring again soon after that fight, or take more time off? Would you rather? Do you regret
I never thought about that. I wish I had gotten the but being that I got it, that it was that it ended as quick as it did.
Mm-hmm.
It was. Yeah, would I have loved to get a rematch? Yeah, but
Yeah. Well, 5 months after the De La Hoya fight, you went to the Bahamas. What did you think of being in the Bahamas? What was it like there?
it was exciting. It was the Paradise Island. It was nice.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice, nice resort.
Yeah. You were there to fight George Scott for the WBU lightweight title. What was that fight like with George Scott?
He was a decent fighter. Wasn't he? Did it go? That went what?
Went 12 rounds and he got the decision actually.
Yeah, he got the decision. It was a tough, loss for me. I didn't feel that I had lost it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel that I lost the fight.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it on video. I don't know if that's on video or not.
It was a close fight, a good fight.
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel like you still had some left over from the De La Hoya loss, or did you feel totally back to being Rafael Ruelas again?
Yeah, I feel I was back, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't know. I thought that was.
Yeah. How did it feel losing 2 fights in a row, or you just did you feel better just knowing that inside you felt like you did enough to beat George Scott, so it was easy to get over?
Well, it was disappointing because I did feel that I did enough to beat him.
Mm-hmm.
I felt that maybe because it was in the Bahamas and he's from Florida and it was Angelo Dundee.
Mm-hmm.
That I may have had some influence.
Yeah. And did Angelo Dundee say anything to you?
I don't remember anything,
No.
specific, no.
Mm-hmm. And then you came back against Tomas Barrientos. What do you remember about getting in the ring after?
He wasn't a bad fighter. I stopped, I don't know if it was 6 or 7 rounds. Took some good shots.
Yeah. It was actually 2 rounds.
2 rounds. Oh.
Quicker than you thought.
Mm-hmm.
How about your fight with Mike Walsh? Anything special about Mike Walsh?
No, you got him out of there quickly. It was like 3 rounds.
2 rounds, yeah.
2 rounds, yeah.
Then you fought Livingstone Bramble. What do you remember about him, even though he was getting...
Yeah, I remember him as a kid growing up, and
Yeah.
he did some with, had good fights, a lot of tough fights.
Mm-hmm.
He took some good shots. And, experienced, but it was, satisfying to beat someone that was, I think he was a good fight, very good fighter at one time,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Great fighter. I had to beat, Mancini.
Yeah. Still tough going 10 rounds with Rafael Ruelas. Wow.
Yeah.
1996 version of Livingstone Bramble, just going the distance.
Yeah, he took a lot of good shots.
Yeah. And what about Jaime Rocky Balboa? Remember about that guy? Remember he had like 80, 90 fights?
Yeah, I stopped him, 6 or 9 rounds?
I think it was like 5 or 6, something like
Okay. Yeah, no,
Nothing special, huh?
no.
You put a few wins together though, and you ended up fighting Kostya Tszyu. What do you remember about Kostya Tszyu?
Well, Kostya, I don't think that they should have stopped the fight when they did.
Mm-hmm.
I was, a little disappointed that Joe stopped it.
Yeah.
I didn't get to really connect. I remember getting him one time, with a tiny left hook
Mm-hmm.
and buckling him, and I don't think that anybody caught that.
Yeah. Yeah. I always felt like you were a punch away. It always felt like you were able to connect something. Something might have happened for you, but.
Mm-hmm.
What do you remember about Kashizu's right hand? Anything special about his power? Anything? What do you remember most about Kashizu?
I remember he was dirty. I was out there with a dirty. It was awkward, but.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I didn't feel that he was really that powerful.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel that he was as strong as other fighters that I gotten hit by.
Yeah. Did he surprise you? Anything surprise you about him at all? Nothing surprised you about Kashizu?
I guess he had weird angles of the punches. I didn't really. And then just he was so stand up and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But no.
And you had your last fight, and your next fight was your last fight with Hiklet Lau. You won a split decision. What do you remember about your last fight?
Well, I had some problems with my shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might have already had surgery.
Mm. Yeah.
But he was, not an easy fight, but I felt that that I beat him unanimous.
Mm-hmm. And did you know going into that fight that it was going to be your last fight?
No.
And what made you decide to give it up after that?
I don't know if it was, talks with my trainer and family, and and then right after that, I think that might have been, I don't know if it was August or July or when was it?
August 1999.
Yeah, actually, August, what was it?
August 8th, 1999. Your last fight with Hiklet Lau.
Yeah, see, that was the year my oldest son was born. He was born August 30th.
Oh, wow.
August 30th.
Mm-hmm.
So, I figured, okay, got a kid and this, I jumped right into a program at UCLA Extension. And I went back to school,
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and then I became a stockbroker.
Mm-hmm. So after your son was born, you decided you had enough of the sport?
Yeah, okay, once I got into school, I got to now dedicate myself to school and doing something, outside of boxing.
Mm-hmm. And what are you doing now?
I'm doing a couple of things. I'm a customer service specialist at a company in Moore Park, California. I've been there since the end of 2007.
Wow.
And right before going into that, I was a full-time realtor. Full-time realtor for about 5 years.
Wow. Now, what does someone say when Rafael Ruelas comes and gets out of the car to show an apartment or a house? What do you think?
Well, yeah. Sometimes, they were surprised and, some were excited, but, hey, just like I was a good, fighter, I'm a good realtor because, I know that it's, consistent discipline and hard work and,
Yep.
Yeah.
And how do you feel after all those years of boxing? I know Gabe's having some problems now. What kind of shape are you in now?
Yeah, I feel good. I feel real good. I did a couple of marathons.
Wow.
Actually, 4. My first one, I made my goal of running it under 4 hours. I did it in 3:43. Next one was to do better, which I did. I did 3. I think I'm trying from 3:53 to 3:43 to 3:36 to 3:35.
Wow. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Natural
Yeah.
athlete.
What's that?
I said you're a natural athlete.
Yeah.
And what do you walk around weighing though?
What do you think I weigh on? I probably weigh like 160, you know,
Okay. Wow.
160, 168, you know.
Rafael Ruelas is the super middleweight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she says no, but yeah, I'm gonna jump on the scale real quick. Hold on. I'm gonna take off my shoes. No, I haven't. No, look, my shoes are off. Yeah, let me see.
My thumb's off if you just ate dinner.
Let me see this.
See the weigh in here.
Yeah, see, 159.
It's 159.
Oh, wow.
You're like 154.
So okay, so maybe I'm 155. No,
No, more.
Your wife knows you better, I guess.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
how many kids do you have now?
I have 3 kids. I have 2 boys and 1 girl. I went through my very first boy, who's about to turn 13 on August 30th. He'll be 13.
Mm-hmm.
I went through a bad divorce and took, you know, spent a lot of money with that divorce, which is not good.
I know about bad divorces, Rafael.
Yeah, yeah. It's still, you know, years later, it's still going, you know.
Yeah.
And the bad thing is, you know, what sucks the most is, you know, my 13-year-old boy is the victim of it, you know.
Yeah. That's tough.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got 3 kids myself. It's tough.
yeah. So, you know, but I have a beautiful wife that, you know, that I love and I get along with her great, and
That's great.
you know, she was able to, you know, accept me, you know, in spite of, you know, I know having going, you know, through a nasty divorce, and she's very supportive. And she had a real good relationship with my son. My son, you know,
Yeah. How's your
at
son?
times would tell her more than tell me.
Yeah. Yeah. How's your son taking it though? Is he doing okay with it?
Not now. You know, now he's yeah. Our relationship is not the best. You know, it's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, could be much better. When we do see each other, he's good. You know,
Mm-hmm.
for the most part. Yeah, but you know, the minute I start trying to, you know, prevent him from doing things he's not supposed to do, he wants to just, you know, do what he wants. You know, and his mom lets him, for the most part, do what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, you know, not with Dad. You know, with Dad, it's a different story.
Yeah. No, is your kids involved in boxing at all, or you won't let them?
And no, you know, I would have trained him, just teach him, but he didn't want me to train him, and he now was taking classes on his own with his mom. I think Jesse Reed was training him.
No.
I told him, you know, just that you don't need to go there. I can, you know, because he wanted me to take him there. I told him, no, I said, I'm going to take you somewhere else closer to home, and I know the guys, and they can train you, or I can train you. You know?
Yeah, that would be good. Another Ruelas.
Yeah, you know, he was insisting on going, you know, on going where he wanted, and I said, no, I said, not with me, so I didn't take him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is he pretty good though?
I haven't really been able to see him, you know, in the gym or in the ring.
Yeah. How tall is he? Tall like you?
He's tall and thin like me, yeah. Yeah, he's you know, really he's too thin.
No. Yeah.
He's taking medication for ADHD, and it's, you know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
That's all I got for you. I'm glad you're doing good.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank
It's
you.
an honor to talk to you.
Thank you very much, Chris.